So a while ago I made a video of my computer system that had a 3 gigs of RAM, 3 gigahertz dual core, had 600 gig in drive space, DVD read writer, typical, dual monitor setup. It was a nice system. Slowly started to die. USB port went, then the onboard NIC went, and then finally the motherboard itself. So I've had my share of used systems. I haven't had a new one in 7 or 8 years. I still have a used laptop. Computers are kind of a waste of money when you spend just for the stuff I do on it, which is network administration, things like that. If I was in the gaming hardcore or, audio video editing that required high-end equipment, I could definitely justify the money. But as it is, most of the time used systems work pretty well for me. But again, I haven't had one brand new in a while, so I figured what the heck. I gave myself a budget and came up with a really nice system with some extras. I think I totally spent around $1,100. Not too much. Anyway, the new system, similar to the old one in the sense where the old one was 3 gigahertz, this is 3.5 gigahertz. The old one had 3 gig of RAM. This one came with 8. I bumped up another 8 for 16 gig total, and it has a capability of having 32. This system has 120 gigabyte solid state drive as well as a 2 terabyte SATA. Of course, it's got the DVD read writer, that goes without saying. More USB ports, which is always handy. Tend to use a lot of those. Still got the same dual monitor setup. I actually had to go out and buy a cheaper NVIDIA card. Don't need anything fancy as long as it does some basic desktop effects that I care to have. I'm not super big into the eye candy. As long as it does those and will more importantly run my dual monitor setup off a single card, then I'm good to go. So I ended up spending like $40 for that. All in all, like I said, $1,100 total. I think the computer was $800 or $900. But decent setup. Again, 3.5 gigahertz quad core versus a dual core that I used to have. Not that that's going to make me check my email any faster. It's probably not even going to really notice a difference. But 64-bit OS this time around versus 32-bit. I waited for 64 because it was having issues with flash and things like that, and I wanted it to mature a little bit before I put it on my main production system desktop. So anyway, last time I was running Ubuntu 10.04 LTS with GNOME 2, which was a really great desktop environment. I won't get into the debacle. That's GNOME 3, Mate, Unity, Cinnamon. I think those are all great for people that like them, but they force a workflow change I'm not comfortable with. Lack of control. They're more application-centric than task-centric, especially in the Cinnamon GNOME 3 Unity genre. If it works for you, you like it, cool. Not my thing. I actually like GNOME 2. Really nice desktop interface. It kind of stayed all the way and let me do what I needed to do. However, there are some configuration options missing that I really prefer, and I have those in KDE. Very minor one, not that I spend a lot of time looking at my desktop, but I can have 2 different wallpapers on 2 different monitors, for the same desktop, as you can see. Beyond that, I installed some applications that I use, but I installed fewer. Last time around, I installed a bunch of stuff that I played with, I used a little bit, but some of it I didn't even touch at all. I still have a list of what I had. If I need it, I can reinstall it, but I decided to keep it cleaner this time. So there's the favorites. That's the stuff I mainly use. Once in a while I'll venture into these other areas just because some of these I use occasionally, some I haven't even touched. Recall is a really good one, as you saw in utilities. I use that. So just kind of a rundown. Like I said, the ones I use all the time I just put in favorites. So pretty much I just work out the favorites menu, and that works for me. If there's some secondary stuff, I'll go ahead and use it, but all my mainstay is right there. So those are the typical, wobbly windows. I mean, that stuff. Yay, we've all seen that. Just some eye candy. Nothing major critical that I need, but I like it. Never really was a fan of the rotating cube or any of that. Never used it, but Kubuntu 1204 LTS KDE desktop. Again, I give the hardware specs. This is just kind of an update video to one I did a long time ago for a now dead computer system. So this is my new rig. Works well for me. Hopefully yours does the same for you. Alright, talk to you.